The doctor gave me 6 months to live. I am 78 years old, and I accepted it. Then one stormy night, I found a dying dog in an alley behind the shelter. What happened next defied every medical prediction and taught me that sometimes the ones we save end up saving us right back. My house used to be full of music. Roberto would play guitar after dinner, and I joined him on the piano. But that was before the stroke took him, before arthritis twisted my hands, before the silences grew so thick I could almost see them settling like dust on the furniture. My name is Maria Ortiz. I am 78 years old, and last month I learned I was dying. Dr. Martinez didn't want to tell me. He sat on my floral sofa and turned his clipboard face down. That's how I knew. Your heart is giving out, Maria, he said. The medication isn't working. I'd say 6 months. Maybe 8 if you're careful. I'm sorry. I nodded. I'd felt it coming, the way my chest tightened when I walked to the mailbox, how I'd wake up gasping. My body had been preparing me, sending warnings I'd been too stubborn to hear for 3 weeks. I did exactly what the doctor ordered. I sat in my chair by the window. I watched pigeons. I counted ceiling cracks. I measured my life in clock ticks. I wasn't living. I was just running out the clock. Then came the Tuesday that changed everything. The rain hit at 7 o'clock, just as I realized I'd forgotten my prescriptions. The pharmacy closed at 8. If I didn't go now, I'd be without medication for 2 days. And Dr. Martinez had been very clear about that. I stood at my window, watching rain slash sideways across the streetlights, and every reasonable part of me said stay home. But I'm old, not helpless. I pulled on my yellow raincoat, the one Roberto said made me look like a daffodil, and grabbed my rolling cart, the one with the squeaky wheel that announces my presence before I round any corner. The walk back was brutal. Wind drove rain into my face. I took a shortcut through the alley behind the animal shelter, a grim passage that smelled of industrial cleaner and something sadder. That's when I saw him. At first, I thought it was a trash bag. Then it moved. A Labrador, black as storm clouds, skeletal. He was pressed into the corner, shaking so violently I could hear his teeth chattering. I should have kept walking. I had a bad heart. I had no strength. I had explicit instructions to avoid stress. But I couldn't move, because when he lifted his head and looked at me, I saw something I recognized, not fear, something older. The look of someone who's already made peace with dying alone. I knew that look. I'd seen it in my bathroom mirror that morning. Behind him, the fence had a gap in the chain link, not large enough to squeeze through without tearing skin, rust-colored stains on the wire. He'd escaped from somewhere. He should have been safe, and now he was out here dying anyway. Oh, I whispered. Oh, you poor thing. He didn't growl. Didn't bare his teeth, just kept looking at me with those dark eyes that had already given up. We match, I thought, 2 old souls in the rain, waiting for permission to stop fighting. But something in me, something stubborn and furious and completely irrational, suddenly refused. Not today, not like this. Getting him into my cart was the hardest thing I'd done since Roberto's funeral. He couldn't help. When I got close, he tried to lift his head, but it just lolled to the side. His breathing was shallow and wet-sounding. I tipped the cart on its side, got down on my knees in the alley muck, and tried to slide him onto the canvas. My pills tumbled out into a puddle. I'd worry about that later. He was so heavy, dead weight. Work with me, I told him, my voice harsh from exertion. Come on, I can't do this alone. Maybe he understood. He managed to shift his haunches just enough that I could drag him, inch by terrible inch, into the cart. My chest was screaming. That tight, crushing feeling, That meant I was doing exactly what I shouldn't be doing. I could hear Dr. Martinez's voice. No stress. Rest. I ignored him. I pulled my wet shawl, bright yellow with red flowers, and draped it over the dog, just his black nose poked out. From a distance, it looked like I was hauling laundry. The walk home took 40 minutes. It should have taken 10. I had to stop every half block to catch my breath. The dog didn't make a sound. I was terrified he'd die before I got him inside. Mrs. Johnson was in the lobby when I stumbled through the door. Of course she was. That woman has a sixth sense for drama. "Maria, you're soaked!" She hurried over, but her eyes were already scanning my cart. Mrs. Johnson is kind, but she's also the building gossip, and our lease is very clear, no pets. "I'm fine," I said, positioning myself between her and the cart. "Just some things from the pharmacy." "That cart looks awfully heavy." She craned her neck. Under the shawl, the dog shifted. My heart stuttered. "They had a sale on canned goods, tomatoes, beans." The lie came out breathless. The elevator arrived with a cheerful ding. I practically threw myself inside. Just as the doors began to slide shut, the dog let out a small sound, not quite a whimper, more like air escaping. Mrs. Johnson's eyebrows shot up. "Was that—" The doors closed. I named him Allegro on the second day. In music, Allegro means lively and fast, which was either optimistic or the darkest joke I'd ever told, because he couldn't even lift his head to drink water. Those first nights, I didn't sleep in my bed. I made a nest on the floor with every pillow and blanket I owned. I'd lie there in the dark, listening to his ragged breathing, terrified each breath would be the last. He smelled terrible, like infection and rot and despair. Why, I didn't care. Feeding Allegro was like feeding a ghost. I had to put tiny pieces of boiled chicken directly on his tongue. Even then, I wasn't sure he was swallowing, but on day 3, something shifted. I was humming, unconsciously, an old song Roberto used to play, and Allegro's tail twitched, just once, but it was the first voluntary movement I'd seen from him. "You like that?" I asked, another twitch. I kept humming. His eyes tracked me. I found myself narrating what I was doing, the way I used to talk to my daughter when she was small. "Now I'm making lunch. Just soup. Nothing fancy. Your previous people." "Did they talk to you? You look like you've been lonely a long time." The words spilled out, filling the silence I'd been drowning in. And here's the strangest part. I forgot to take my afternoon nap. I forgot to sit in my chair and count ceiling cracks. I was too busy. Allegro needed water every 2 hours. He needed to be repositioned. He needed warm compresses. He needed someone to scratch the spot behind his ear he couldn't reach. He needed me. For the first time in 5 years, I was needed. By the end of week 1, he could lift his head. By week 2, he was eating from a bowl. By week 3, he was standing, wobbly, but standing. And I was standing too, moving more, climbing stairs without stopping halfway, sleeping through the night. We were healing together, though I didn't fully realize it, until Dr. Martinez's next visit. Dr. Martinez came exactly 1 month after giving me 6 months to live. I'd locked Allegro in the bedroom with a new bone. He'd gotten strong enough to bark, deep and booming, and I couldn't risk it. And the doctor wrapped the blood pressure cuff around my arm, pumped it up, and frowned. He released it, waited, then did it again. From the bedroom, thump, thump, thump. Allegro's tail hitting the floor. Dr. Martinez didn't seem to notice. He pulled out his stethoscope. Deep breath, I breathed. He listened, moved the stethoscope, listened again. Your blood pressure is 118 over 76. Last month, it was 160 over 95. That's good. That's remarkable. Your heart sounds stronger. Your lungs are clear. You were wheezing last month. He sat back. Maria, what have you been doing differently? I thought about Allegro, about waking at 6 a.m. to let him out, about walking him around the block 3 times daily, about having a reason to cook real meals, about laughing at his antics when he stole my slippers, about not being alone. I've been taking my medication, I said carefully, just like you told me. Thump, thump, thump. This time he heard it. His eyes flicked toward the bedroom door. Do you have company? The radiator, old building. He looked skeptical, but didn't push. Well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I didn't expect to see this kind of improvement. After he left, I opened the bedroom door. Allegro bounded out, actually bounded like a puppy, and jumped up to put his paws on my shoulders. We did it, I whispered. We're not dead yet. But that afternoon, I saw Louis pasting flyers on every telephone pole on the block. I knew Louis by sight. Everyone did. He worked night security at the shelter. There were rumors, missing donations, dogs that should have been adopted, disappearing. The flyer had a blurry photo, some other black dog, and big red letters, stolen, dangerous animal, reward. He wasn't looking for a lost pet. He was looking for evidence. For 2 days, I kept Allegro inside. No walks, no playing in the hallway. We were prisoners. Then on Saturday, someone pounded on my door. I know you have him. Open up, Louis. Allegro's ears went flat, but he didn't hide. He moved between me and the door, and the growl from his chest was nothing like the broken whimper from the alley. This was the sound of a dog who'd found something worth protecting. I grabbed my cane and opened the door. Louis was sweating despite the cool hallway. That's city property. You're harboring stolen goods. I'm calling the police. He was dying in an alley. You left him to die. What was I supposed to do? He was scheduled for euthanization. He's aggressive, dangerous. Does he look dangerous? Allegro sat at my side, leaning his weight against my leg. His tail swept the floor. Louis's jaw worked. I could lose my job over this. You mean he's evidence that you're not doing your job? How many other dogs have escaped, Louis? He pulled out his phone, and that's when Mrs. Johnson's door opened. Is there a problem, Maria? Another door opened. Mr. Henderson from 4B, then the Tran family, young Marcus from 5C. They lined the hallway, watching Louis. Footsteps on the stairs. Dr. Martinez appeared, medical bag in hand. What's going on? This woman stole a dog from the shelter, Louis said, his voice losing certainty. Dr. Martinez studied Allegro. This dog doesn't look dangerous to me. He looks healthy, or well cared for, he glanced at me. Actually, he and my patient seem to be taking care of each other. She's made more medical progress in the last month than I've seen in my career. Mrs. Johnson stepped forward. We've all seen those flyers, Louis. Dangerous and stolen. Funny words for a dog that was supposed to be euthanized. Makes a person wonder what you're really afraid of. Louis looked around at the faces, old, young, united against him. His phone hand slowly lowered. This isn't over, he muttered, backing toward the stairs. It is actually, Mr. Henderson said, and if you come back, we'll have questions about missing animals, about why a dog scheduled for euthanization was left in an alley to die slowly. Louis fled down the stairs. Mrs. Johnson turned to me. So, you have a dog. I have a dog, I admitted. She smiled. He's very handsome. That was 14 months ago. Today is Tuesday again. Funny how the most important days are Tuesdays, and I'm sitting on a bench in Riverside Park. The sun is warm on my face. Cherry blossoms drift down like snow. Allegro! Here, boy! I throw the tennis ball. My arm is still weak. Arthritis doesn't care how good your spirits are, but the ball makes it maybe 15 feet. It doesn't matter. Allegro chases it like I've thrown it a mile. He's filled out beautifully, 80 pounds of muscle and glossy fur. He grabs the ball, his whole body wiggling with joy, and gallops back. He drops it in my lap, slobbery and perfect, and puts his head on my knee. Good boy, I whisper, scratching behind his ears. Best boy. Dr. Martinez says my heart is still damaged. He says I'm on borrowed time, but then aren't we all? The difference is now I know what to do with the time I have left. I spend it here in the sun with my friend. The shelter investigation made local news. Lewis was fired. They found records showing he'd been skimming medication funds. 3 dogs were found in deplorable conditions, dogs that had supposedly been adopted months ago. I watched it all from my apartment, Allegro's head in my lap, and felt nothing but fierce gratitude that I walked through that alley on that particular Tuesday. Mrs. Johnson sits on the next bench over, reading. She and I have coffee every Thursday now. The gossip is different these days. Maria and that dog saved each other's lives. I can live with that. Allegro drops the ball. Again. I throw it again. He chases it again. We've done this dance 100 times today, and we'll do it 100 more. Because here's what I've learned. The timeline doesn't matter. 6 months or 6 years. The question isn't how much time you have. It's what you do with it. Whether you sit in a chair, waiting for the end, or whether you walk through an alley in a storm and decide to fight back. I looked at that diagnosis and thought it was a period at the end of my sentence. It was just a comma. Come on, old man, I say to Allegro. He's panting now, tired and happy. Let's go home. He walks beside me, matching his pace to mine. 2 old souls who were supposed to die alone. Instead, we're walking home together into the sunlight, one slow step at a time. And that's enough. That's everything. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs hope today. Every person facing a difficult diagnosis, for every senior citizen feeling forgotten, every animal lover who believes in second chances, they need to hear Maria and Allegro's story. Share this story. Tag a dog lover. Tell us in the comments, have you ever been saved by someone you were trying to save?